The listening test, of course, the basics first. Let's see the format of the test first. As you know, the listening test consists of 40 questions to answer in total. In each section, you will have to answer 10 questions per section. All questions are equally important and you get marked for the 40 points. So you cannot say that the fourth section, for example, is more difficult, so I will get high marks for it. Okay?
Okay.
On conception. Each point in the listening test is very important, even the easiest ones. The listening test time is 40 minutes. The listening audio is only 30 minutes. During it, you have to listen to the audio and the answer at the same time on the test papers. And after you finish, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the test papers to the answer sheet.
Okay, that's clear.
All right. The 10 minutes, of course, is a quite long time just to answer some words from the exam papers to the answer sheet. But during these 10 minutes, you must check your spelling and make sure that you wrote every answer in the right spelling. Even if your answer were right and you made a spelling mistake, it will be considered a wrong answer.
Okay.
This is what we use the 10 minutes for. And also during the listening audio, you may miss a point or two. So during the 10 minutes to transfer your answer to the answer sheet, you can also rethink again about the missing point that you've missed during the audio. And try to write or guess any answer and write it down in your answer sheet. And don't leave it blank. Because you will not be considered or will be corrected in the negative system here. Okay, are you with me?
Yes, I'm following.
Let's proceed now to the section 1. Will be a simple conversation on everyday situation. Two colleagues in office or a customer and staff in a department store. You will have 10 questions to answer about. One person speaking in everyday social situation. This is the section 2. 3, a conversation between two or more people in an educational or training context, tutorial or seminar. 4 will be a lecture or talk about a topic of general or academic interest. And of course, you can see that the difficulties is going up with you from task 1 or section 1 to section 4 because it's not an adaptive test. This test started with easy questions and then go on to raise difficulties. What kind of tasks that you expect or what kind of questions? You should expect forms, filling forms, multiple choice questions, short answer questions, flowchart completion, sentence completion, and table completion, and labeling, diagram, plan, or a map. And these questions happens to come regularly. So pay attention to this kind of question because it's very, very important. Labeling, diagram, plan, or a map. Remember that not all forms of questions you will face in a single exam. You may face here 3 or 4 kinds of these questions here, or these types of questions. Okay, but of course we have varieties because we have millions of candidates around the world taking the IELTS every day. The first type of question, like this one in front of you, is forms. Complete the form clue. Now, when doing any kind of question in the listening test, you will have about 30 seconds before the audio starts. in each section. During these 30 seconds, you should scan the task first and pay attention to the heading because it's very important. When you say write not more than 2 words and or a number. So if you wrote 3 words, it's a mistake or wrong answer. Okay? If you wrote a word and a number, okay? 2 words and or a number. So if I wrote a word and a number, it will be correct. Okay?
Okay.
After reading the first one here, or the headings of the question, which is very important, I must scan it. And I want you to try to guess what kind of answer that we should have here. First names. Huh? So what do we have here before listening to the audio?
We need to know a name.
Yes, it's a noun. Okay.
Yes.
Somebody's noun and address. So here we'll have an address. Postcode. So this one will be a number. Okay.
Yes.
Here, so work there. And here, type of ID. This also will be
Number.
all right. Date of birth. So we're expecting here to hear
A year.
or a year that she was born in. Okay. Try to scan as much as you can and see, or try to guess what kind of words that we want to listen to. Okay. In this kind of questions here. This is a form completion. The second one is multiple choice questions. In multiple choice questions, it's a good technique to try to reduce the number of words in a sentence. So in the 30-second questions, try to find the keywords in every sentence, like the subject, we, and
Present.
and the verb. So the subject, the verb are the keywords. Okay, if you have some new words to you or unfamiliar words, that's what we are going to say, how you can deal with them and how you can tackle it. Of course, also in the multiple choice question, if you didn't hear the answer clearly, you can omit the answer that you can, or you think it's way far from the answers. Short answer questions. Also pay attention here to the headings. Write no more than 2 words and or number. In some headings, you will find write not more than 1 word or 3 words. So the headings is very important. And most of the Arab students don't pay attention to the headings and start answering directly. And this is, of course, very wrong. So the next one is a flowchart completion, and this is also one of the common questions that come to in the IELTS test, especially if you are taking the academic module. So if you're taking the academic module, you should expect this kind of questions came to you during the listening test. Sentence completion, as you can see, this is also the most common question here. Sentence completion. Write not more than 2 words and or a number. One more time. You will listen and try to guess again the answers before listening during the 30 seconds that you've got before listening to the audio. Like experience leaves ad, so I'm here expecting to listen to a time. Nearest station, it's station name. Number, this is the bus goes to, so this will be a place, for example. Bus number, and the real bus leaves at, so here also we are expecting to listen to one more time to time or a clock. Table completion. Write not more than or a number. One more time, you should scan the table here or the chart that you've got before listening during the 30 seconds and pay attention to the headings. So this one is a transport. So these are kinds of transport. Try to identify what you've got. What kind of information do we have in the chart? So these are different kinds of transport: cash fare and card fare. So we have two kinds or two different kinds of fares, one for cards and the other one for cash. Pay attention to the headings in this kind of questions. It's very important. And then try to scan and pay attention. So we have a missing information here in the first one with the bus. Train, off peak, we have two kinds or two missing pieces here. Okay, what kind of ferry is he talking about? Tourist ferry, and here we have a piece of missing information also. Okay, so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. We have 5 points you have to answer and complete in this table. Labeling a diagram. This is also one of the most common questions comes to the IELTS test. When tackling this kind or facing this kind of question, you must pay attention. First, you must recognize where you are. When looking during the 30 seconds, first thing you should think of where I am. So where do you think we are here? Hello?
It looks like a hotel.
Right, I want you to tell me where we are.
This is a hotel.
Right, no.
A diagram for a hotel.
Where is your place? In this kind of question, okay, we will tell you that you're inside this place or inside this map, okay? And you will give instructions on these places, okay? So
Okay.
you should first know where are you first. So we are here at the reception.
Yes.
Okay, we are here at the reception. So when going on, you will find that we have missing places. I, H, G, E, C, D, E, A, F. Okay, so we have labeled places already, like outdoor pool, double doors, and so on. While these other places are missing. So I want you here to label these places. Where is the administration office, sports, mechanic, cafe, and so on. Okay, so knowing where I am on the map or on the screen will help me determine that where we are going. Because the speaker will tell you go forward, turn right, turn left, past, back, next to, opposite. Of course, paying attention to the preposition used in this type of question will help you a lot to answer. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, now let's proceed. When you read the questions, make sure you understand it. Think about the situation or context and try to guess what the vocabulary might hear, as I told you first before listening to the audio. Highlight, underline the keywords. Highlight and underline the keywords. It's very important. As far as possible, predict the answers. Also, predicting the right grammatical words can help you during the listening test. Remember, listening effectively does not mean you need to understand every single word you hear. Actually, some words you'll hear or you will not hear will be strange to you. There's no problem with that. You should pay attention to the context, not every single word. In fact,
الفويس بيبعد في حتت وبيبقى واطي قوي.
the voice?
Yes.
No.
Now it's clear.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
Right. One more time. When doing the listening test, try not to know every single answer because you will not. Because you're listening to a native speaker. And he picks up the most important words and phrases which carry meaning. And that's why you should pay attention to the context, not every single word. And if you missed a word, or if you miss the question, do not panic. You must continue with the audio. Okay? It's very important not to panic during the listening test and not to stop. And remember that the audio you're listening to is your guidance. So walk on, continue with the audio, even if you missed a point or two. And during the 10 minutes, when we are transferring the answers to the answer sheet, we can refer back to the missing points. Be careful when you transfer your answers and check spelling and also basic grammars. Be especially careful to write plural forms or nouns when necessary. Make sure you include symbols as decimal points for numbers and currency symbols for money. This is very important. Pay attention also to the punctuation rules. When transferring your answers to the answer sheet, some people making a very strange technique, but they write every single word in the answer sheet in capital letters. Okay?
Okay.
To avoid mistakes for punctuation rules. Because you can do this if you want. Okay?
Okay.
Pay attention for symbols, as we said, and the symbols for money, decimals, and so on. One final tip, if you lose your place completely during the lesson, notice when other candidates turn over the page with your booklet and do the same, because the audio is the same for all the candidates. While you are listening, listen for signposting, language as, and secondly, moving to the next point. Be aware of synonyms. Synonyms are used very, very much in reading, in listening, in speaking, whatever. Pay attention for example, in one multiple choice question, the answer is on foot, and the answer could be don't want. So don't expect to listen to the same words in your topic. Okay?
Okay.
Answer items are often pronounced clearly, straight, or repeated. The speaker whispers, mumbles the words. So this one would be, it's probably not the correct answer. Do not automatically write the first thing you hear. That sounds right. There are sometimes distractors. This technique is used a lot also. Give you some distractors and also you should pay attention to the negative things. Because sometimes he gives you one of the answers in multiple choice questions, but in negative form. So some students, when he listens to the same word, he just so distractors are used during the IELTS lesson. While you are listening, do not try to write down everything you hear. You will not succeed and you will miss important information as a result. You can save time you are listening by writing abbreviations. For example, HOS for hospital, okay? You can write this abbreviation on your booklet. But of course, when transferring your answers to the answer sheet, you must write it in full. When you are giving a diagram, map, or process or flowchart, it's absolutely essential to locate your starting point where you are on the map. Do not write more than the maximum number of words or letters allowed in each answer. It's better to guess than to leave the answer blank because you will not lose for long answers. Are you there?
Yes, I'm following, but I didn't get the point at the last point.
The last one here?
Yes. You will not lose a mark for a wrong answer. What does this mean?
when listening to the audio, you may miss a point or two. Okay, so you have to leave it. You have to leave this point, or this certain question, or this certain point, leave it and move on with the audio. Okay, because the audio will not stop.
Okay.
Okay, so you must be with the audio all the time. Even if you miss a point or two, and the audio moves on to the next point, you must move on with the point. But if when you transfer your answer to the answer sheet, you can refer back to these points again and try to answer them, and don't leave them blank.
Okay.
Just to get the right answer. Right?
Right.
Now, what can I do to improve my listening? First of all, I'd like to make clear to you that listening skill is a skill that can only improve through extensive practice. So you, as a trainer, if you want to train someone to take the IELTS listening test, you mostly cannot do anything. He has to make extensive practice. He has to practice listening 2 to 3 hours daily, at least. So extensive practice is the only way to improve listening skills. Listening to the news on TV is a very helpful technique to improve. Listening to speeches of politicians, also one of the most important techniques to improve your listening skills. Also, we can use a material that we've got between our hands here today, which is columns for listening. This material, I'll show you how to use every single unit and what are the content of every unit. The first here we have is part 1 on vocabulary. This one introduces vocabularies related to the topic and it gives you the chance to use your vocabs clearly and effectively. And of course, this one also helps you to deal with synonyms, understanding synonyms and paraphrasing. Completing forms, matching and answer multiple choice questions. So this unit also talking about 3 kinds of questions that comes in IELTS. Of course, the next unit will have different kinds of questions to practice and rehearse on. So the first one here is only about vocabularies, introducing vocabularies to you. You'll find some exercises like this one. How to do this, the exercise, if I have the material. Try to answer the questions without using dictionary. Try to answer the questions without using dictionary. To develop the skill of recognizing the meaning of unfamiliar words. And this is very important during the IELTS because during the IELTS test itself, you will not have dictionary to know every single word. So try to guess the answer and try to improve your skill of recognizing the meaning of the words that you're reading for the first time. This is for part 1, working on vocabularies. Remember the order of this exercise because we are going to move on to a website I gave you before and you'll find the same steps. So first step to improve your listening is to work on vocabularies and synonyms. After that, or after doing these kind of exercises, and also you'll have this type of questions that you've got in the IELTS. On the second point, let's move on to part 2. This is part 2. Part 2, practice exercise. In this part, you will be given exercises on question types and provide you test-taking strategies, which is the exam tip. Okay? For example, this tip here tells you before you listen, try to predict the answer as I told you. Try to predict the answer before, of course, during the 30 seconds that you've got during the listening test. So these two strategies will help you to take the test and also will help your students to understand how to deal, how to do the test itself, how to tackle every kind of questions that we've got in the IELTS test. In this part also, trains you on how to approach different question types, helps you to be fully prepared for each type of questions. So you can focus only on listening, and this is very important. If you got into the test and you have to focus only on the listening, you have to pay attention only to what the words that you're listening to, not to the different kind of questions. You don't have any difficulties to understand what you've got in front of you on the booklet. That will help you to pay attention fully only on the listening audio. Now let's move on to the third part. Of course, these tips are very important. Exam information, multiple choice questions. In the IELTS tip, there are different multiple choice questions. The first one has a number of questions. Of course, I'll leave the material to you. I'll forward it to you to work on it. Part 3 will be about exam practice. Right here. In part 3, exam practice questions for the same section in part 2. The format is the same as actual exam. So this part is only or mainly done to help you to be familiar with the question types and the form of the question type that you will face in your booklet. After you do the test review, review your answers again and compare them with the answer keys to know why certain answers were correct and why some were not correct. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm following.
Right.
I'm following Mr. Ahmed, yes.
Great. But pay attention here. During this section, of course, you'll have an audio to listen to and answer the question. But you have to listen to the audio only once. And after answering the questions, you can review your answer and listen to the audio. Even if you want to listen more than one time, it's okay. You can listen to the audio as much. In the book also, at the end of the book, you will find answer key. This one will help you to define your answers. But remember, during the actual test, you can always listen once and will not be repeated. The audio, you cannot control the audio. It will be played automatically. You only have 30 seconds before each task will be given to you to look at the task before the end. Okay?
Okay.
Right. These are the units from 1 to 11. Unit 12 will be a complete back. You should do under the real exam conditions. You'll do it yourself under the real exam conditions. So get yourself a stopwatch, play the audio, try not to stop the audio. Okay, do the test as you are doing in the actual circumstance.
Okay. Am I supposed to study all the units of the books?
No, you're not supposed to. All the units of the books are mainly made for basic learners. Basic learners, but you are an advanced learner. So, what should I study? What should I do? How can I identify what I need from the book? You only have to read each word. So this unit aims predicting answers, understanding synonyms and phrasing, and completing forms, matching, and answer multiple questions. So in this unit, for example, I think I want to work on synonyms, for example, and paraphrase. So I'll go to this section here on the unit and work in it. Okay, I just want to work on this kind of question, matching. Okay, and of course you will find yourself that you have difficulties in certain kind of questions. So you can work on these aims. You don't have to work on all the aims of the unit. This is only for basic learners, not for you.
Okay.
And you can do a unit 2, 3. Of course, it also will give you a variety of vocabularies help you during speaking. Now, the score, which is important. If you got 16 out of 40, you will be scored 5 in listening. If you got 23 out of 40, you will be scored 6. So from 16, 5, 23, 6. And if you got 30 out of 40, you will be 7. This is if you want to know how you're going to be. Okay, now I want to work on my listening practice also. Can you see the website that we've got in front of you?
Yes, it's from the British Council.
The British Council
Learn
skills. British Council skills. This is what we need to work on so we can proceed to the listening section on the British Council website. In the listening section here, we found beginner, pre-intermediate, intermediate, and upper intermediate, advanced. What level you want to practice according to your level. Let's see, we are intermediate. So I'll go to the intermediate. I'll find different topic here. I'll go to the phone call. Do you remember the order of the units? The columns vocabulary that we say. First part, working on vocabulary, and second part, exercise and the strategy, and third part, exam practice. Okay?
Okay.
It's the same order here. First thing you'll find preparation. Preparation work on vocabularies and synonyms also. Okay? And I want you to pay attention to the synonyms and the vocabularies in this certain website. Because most of these vocabularies and synonyms actually comes in the. So the preparation on this website here is very important if you want to take the IELTS. After you do the preparation, understanding the vocabularies and work on them, you'll find the transcript. Don't use the transcript. Proceed directly to task 1. Have a look on it, but scan it as fast as you can, okay? And then play the audio and try to answer the questions. Task 1 and move on to task 2. If you did this task here on the intermediate level, if you did it right, you can try another topic on the same level. And if you did the other topic and you've got more than 90% right answers, you can move on to the next level, which is upper intermediate. and do the same. You can finish all the tasks for listening here, and this will improve your listening skills if you want to do so. Also, you can advise yourself and even your students to use, of course, YouTube to improve my listening skill. Using YouTube will go on 3 steps. The first step to use YouTube channel. Advise your students to listen only first. Listen only. You don't have to pay attention to the details during listening only period, okay? And this one, I want him to listen only for 2 to 3 weeks. And this is what we call exposure. We're just making him expose himself to English to 2 to 3 hours every day during the 3 weeks. And this will help him to get acquainted, just to get acquainted to English language and listening to English as much as he can. Second technique, listen and answer. 3 questions. What are they? What they are talking about. So what is the topic? What is the main topic? Who are talking in the audio or in the video, and where, the place. Okay, what, who, and where. This is what I want him to answer me. So during the first period here, he just listen, don't have to pay attention. He can do whatever he wants. He can listen while walking in the streets. He can listen while traveling to some place, okay? In this one here, he has to listen and only answer these 3 questions, and that's it. Now, the third technique, which is very important, the third technique will be dictate. He should listen and write. How can we do that? Using the YouTube channels here, I will write only short, of course, British, because during the IELTS test, you'll listen to different British accents. So short British conversation. With subtitles. Okay?
Okay.
So you can start very simple and very easy with this kind of videos here. I will play the video. And of course we have subtitles, which means it's written in English in front of us here. The student should play the video and minimize the screen down. Play the video and minimize the screen. And then tries to write down what he's listening to. Write down the sentences in order to get acquainted to the differences between written and spoken English. And after finishing the audio or the video here, he can use the paper that he wrote on and compare what he has written with what we have got on the video and correct himself. So the dictation is also very important to do. And this is one of the most important techniques to do during the dictation test. Okay?
Okay.
What also we can do, which is the fourth technique. The fourth technique also can improve not only listening, but also it can improve our speaking a lot, which is listen and imitate. Listen and imitate. Okay? And in this one also you can use a search. But this time we will search for English imitation. English imitation lessons or English imitation practice. Okay? In this imitation practice, you will find some sentences like this one. You will listen to, and after that, after you listen, you should try to imitate during the silent periods in the video. Try to imitate
Excited that you're
what
here
you've
and that
listened
you're
to.
spending going to be practicing with the old practice. You're training your system of words. You're saying at the same time so that you can adjust the sounds and the rhythms so that you can match me. You are going to make a lot of mistakes, but who cares? We're going to have fun. Today we're going to practice talking about a past trip.
So this is what we can do to improve our listening. Remember, one more time, you as a trainer, you cannot be very helpful to your students only with tips and tricks during the test. The student himself or herself should practice extensively to listen to English as much as he can in order to pass the test and get the right scores that he needs.